And we're live. Hello, everybody.
Wasabi.
We are back.
I just
with
realized
the great Chance Dillon. Yeah.
I'm sorry to disrupt your intro. Do you hear a background noise here or no? I should have asked that earlier.
I hear a little bit.
What do you hear?
Like maybe a plate
or a plate?
Like,
okay. Like rattling?
Yeah, a rattling.
All right. That's okay. That's just my air. I have no choice but to keep that on. All right, good. I just wanted to know if it was disruptive. Sorry to break up your intro and completely throw it off.
No, it's fine. That's the fun of it. The unexpected stuff is what makes it all so much fun, yeah?
Mm-hmm. 100.
Hold on. Exactly. So, I guess I should ask. I don't want to ask like the thing that you've been asked. Okay, don't do that, computer. I don't want to ask you the same thing you've been asked 1,000 times over.
Okay.
So I'm going to try and ask a little bit differently. Of course, I could ask you, what inspired you? When did the spark come up? I'm sure you've asked that 1,000 times over.
Hey, whatever you want to talk about, man. You know we could just talk about whatever.
It's true. Yeah. But I do want to know, because I see a little bit of it. So I want to ask it. Mm-hmm. How exactly were some of your biggest inspirations like incorporated into the book? Because I think I see a little bit of it in the Elden Ring and the Outer Wills and the Greater Wills.
Yeah.
So I want to know a little bit more about that, if you don't mind.
Yeah, Elden Ring specifically was a big inspiration in terms of like how the gods are approached and sort of just how the world sort of has remnants in Elden Ring, has remnants of their being. Throw that in with the narrative concept that Elden Ring takes and how everything is put into the world sort of in little details here and there. An item you pick up, an item a vendor has, a vendor, like that vendor, where they came from. Those little storytelling concepts that exist in the world were the things that I really wanted to incorporate into my narrative structure and how I approach narrative, because it's just one of those things that I thoroughly enjoyed about that experience, was knowing that there's this giant world and that we don't totally understand it at all, and then slowly but surely peeling back the veil that there is, and then introducing the concepts a little bit more clearer, or at least letting the reader put them together, like blindly trusting the reader really to figure it all out. And Elden Ring, in terms of the lore and the world building, definitely played a big role in how I think the deities affect the world. Demigods obviously was a big influence there. I wanted to humanize them a little bit more and create sort of just these humans who are trusted with, this giant responsibility and effectively fighting for power in a way. But without giving too many spoilers up, the first two books is sort of introducing the main players and really showing those influences in terms of Elden Ring and bringing them to the fore.
That, you know what? Oh, dang, that actually makes a lot of sense now. Because I could see it in some of the Will's stuff, but now that I'm thinking about like the item descriptions, the way, that makes a lot of sense. I wish I.
Yeah. Also, is that Zamar? Zamar Maris here?
I was about to say, Zamar, the wonderful, just popped
wonderful. Up. Last time we chatted with him, we were doing his duology.
That's true. Oh man, that was
a while ago. It's wild.
Oh my god, it's been more than a year, hasn't it?
Yeah, we read through his duology, Riven Earth and Sundered Moon, and then we had a convo, full spoiler-filled convo with some spoilers free, I think, section there. That's somewhere in the backlog on your channel, I think. If people out there are interested,
there's spoiler
excellent.
Free and spoiler.
Yeah, excellent series, duology.
And also, he made a prequel too, I think, or was it a prequel?
His novella.
Mm-hmm.
Those great Molesky covers.
I need to get to that.
Yep. Yeah, I do too, actually. Yeah.
We can make a chat about that one too, yeah?
Yeah. Hey, appreciate you dropping in, man.
I know, same. So wonderful.
You know. But yeah, no, I think the Elden Ring influences played a giant role, especially when I first started out. I really wanted to like slowly lay down world building, which is ironic because I do throw a lot of terms at people in the very beginning of the first book, but without clear manifestation as to what those things are. But I like planting things for readers to sort of dig up. And yeah, I of course I'd love for it to be for everybody, but at the end of the day, nothing is, right?
Yeah. All the great stories.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, now that we're on the topic, you ever? Are you going to play their next game, the Duskbloods?
Ooh, I didn't even see this.
Ooh, yeah, no. They From Software is making Duskbloods. I think that's their next game.
Whoa.
And they're my favorite publisher because like the Dark Souls games I love, Demon Souls I love.
Right.
And then of course Elden Ring, stupid amount of time in that.
Yeah, I still got to play the DLC. Elden Ring is really the only one I ever really fully played through. I didn't know they were making one called Duskbloods. Is that in its own universe that they create or what?
I think it is because do you know Bloodborne?
Yeah.
So I think it's like a spiritual successor to that.
Okay, spiritual. So sort of in that vein, in that kind of universe.
Exactly, sort of in that like gothic horror vein.
Okay.
That's like cosmic horror too. It's really, really cool.
I may have to play through Bloodborne. I need the time, and then I'll be able to play through all the Souls games eventually. That's like a goal of my life.
They're so good, man. They're so much fun.
Yeah.
Trust the reader to the next level.
Really did.
Big in book one by the end. Honestly, I agree.
Yeah, it does take a lot of patience. I think and it's funny because I think it actually pays off way more in book 2 as well. Because books 1 and 2, Mercy, Tears of the Fallen, Mercy, Ills of Fate, create a single arc of a story that bring us up to a place that I really wanted to fully explore when I set out to write the series. So that single arc, I try to, by the end of the first book, really show off, or at least reveal, take the mask off who the antagonist actually is. At the very least, at least in my eyes, the way that I see it, the way that I perceived it as I wrote it. And then book 2 is showing a greater conflict while again peeling back more layers to concepts that we were introduced to in the first book through the eyes of the antagonist that we saw in the first book. I sort of like expanded on that, going into other perspectives and sort of introducing concepts that we're introduced to in the first book, but bringing it to the other storylines, the other narrative through lines.
Honestly, yeah, I didn't expect to get those other perspectives. I went into book 2 like, actually, I don't even know if I had expectations other than it's going to be good.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I know Chance is going to knock it out of the park, so I'm just going to go in and love it. And so
thank you for having faith.
I walked in, but then I just did not expect to get those perspectives. I don't know why. I probably should have, considering how much epic fantasy I read, but
yeah,
I didn't. And I've enjoyed every part of it that I've gotten to so far. I never gave me time to finish it, but I did not.
Yeah, I'm grateful that we're having this conversation generally, like it's really cool because we haven't spoken in a long time, I guess, since the Sun Eater Gala, really. It's just nice to get on and chat with you. I'm grateful that you're reading it and wherever you're up to, I'm sure. Yeah, there are some perspectives I throw in there that are new. I think one primary perspective I threw in there that's like really new, that sticks around. And then I throw in a couple familiar characters, but now we're seeing through their eyes a little bit more. And then there's other perspectives in there that may or may not last a long time,
Oh, don't tell me that.
We'll see. You know, there's certain chapters in there designed to taking inspiration from Joe Abercrombie. I sort of played with that as well a lot in this book.
Okay, so you're telling me that you're gonna hurt me bad.
Yeah, I actually think and actually I think I need to say this. Every epic fantasy author that writes battle needs to read The Heroes by Joe Abercrombie. Not that it's not, so much going one for one, but see what he does in that book and then play with it, and it's really fun. It's actually very fun. But yeah, that's all I'll say about that. I don't want to say too much.
I really need to hit the standalones because I did the Heresy read through. I went the original trilogy, Age of Madness.
Oh, you went right over it. Yeah.
Yeah, I just went right over it because I was like, oh, I want to read Age of Madness.
Yeah.
And then
I still need to get to Red Country, and then I'm going to do the Age of Madness, which I'm anxious to get to. Honestly, like it's not so funny because I'm thinking about my next reads. I think I'm going to do the Live Ship Traders by Robin Hobb after I'm reading Crippled God right now. I'm about almost 200 pages into this puppy. I finished of Empires and Dust finally. By the way, should have mentioned that. Yeah, the pain, as Amar mentioned. Yeah. The pain is the pain of experience, the pain of learning. I think our brains are intuitively seeking that. And that's, that also goes to a little bit of the Berserk concept, which is very funny because I had read Sun Eater as I was writing or editing the second book, Kingdoms of Death. That's all I'll say. And then there's some tie-ins to Berserk that come to that book. And then I read Berserk, and I read up and through the Golden Age arc, and I realized just how much the carryover of themes there are in my favorite stories. And it's just so funny what you don't realize even as you're writing things that exist, and you find stories that you really, really enjoy, having never experienced them. And then that's just such a fun experience to me, is in being in the book community generally, is we all like similar things, if not the same things. and it gets to really expand my my base, my foundation of stories that really touch on these themes of suffering, endurance, grief, and with that, for lack of a better term, play with them, in a way that I think becomes cathartic as we go through it. And I don't know, I thoroughly enjoy that in that aspect of being a part of the book community and book discovery.
Honestly, I think my favorite part of your novels has been the aspect of grief. That one, the struggling, I love it too, of course, so don't get me wrong, but the way grief is handled, I love it.
Yeah, and that's sort of where playing with perspective comes in, because all the characters experience or deal with grief in a different way. And there were times in my life through grief that I've experienced where maybe I've dealt with it the way one character did, or at least considered it. And then other times where I experience it a totally different way, and just how dynamic grief is and can be. And then also how crippling it can be, how maybe it rears itself when we don't really expect it to, or we're not really thinking about it. Just how grief is this thing that lives within us that doesn't necessarily go away, and just how we live beyond our grief, and how we affect other people is something that I also wanted to play with. Challenging ideas too. I think challenging trains of thought. If I have this story in my head about how I handle grief, and I say, this is how I handle grief, that's just who I am. How do I introduce a concept into the story, into a character's perspective that challenges that view, in order for them to sort of find their roots again and conquer whatever it is that's in front of them. But grief is such a big thing that I think I only realized later in my writing that was actually going to be a giant part of my themes. I didn't quite catch that until I think I was done writing the book.
Also, real quickly, bye, Zamar.
Bye, Zamar. Thanks for stopping in, man.
I know, really, it's fun. And also, I know you saw my reaction to it, but live shit. I'm gonna take you away for a second. we need to talk when you read Live Ship.
Yeah. I remember watching you and Zamar's videos, I think, when you guys were both reading Live Ship separately.
Oh, no, I read no. I read Live Ship before I came to BookTube.
No, I know. Did you make a video though?
No,
I could have sworn you made a Robin Hobb video. Maybe it was about the ones after.
I did make one for Fitz and the Fool for the final trilogy.
That's what it was. Okay, yeah.
But for Live Ship Traders, I would gladly. And honestly, I've been like fiddling with a reread of Live Ship Traders recently, so I might read that alongside you.
Okay, heck yeah, man. Yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to getting my Robin Hobb fix again. It's just been too long since I've experienced her writing, so dude, I think I need to get back into it.
You are going to love it.
Good. That's what I hear.
Think, especially with what you were saying about the ideas of challenging these notions, challenging beliefs, and then I also think Live Ship Traders does it's not to the extent that I would say your series does it, but I would also say it does tackle grief in certain ways and ways that I love it so much. I remember when I read it, I did the most absurd thing. It was so absurd that I couldn't keep track of it. But after every chapter, I would go back and I'd write up a summary. And then I'd just I'd pour through my summaries and just create a huge analysis like this person foils that person, and then that person's like, oh my God, look at the brilliance.
Epic. I don't even know if I could do that. I don't know if I have the patience.
I don't. That's the problem. I didn't have the patience.
And you did it anyway. Yeah.
Exactly. Like I got, I think, halfway through and I said, I just can't. I have to just read it.
Yeah. As a quick shout out to a book we were both reading of Empires and Dust as well, on the topic of grief. That ending really, that was a whirlwind. That last like 10-15% was spot on. Very rarely do I get an experience when I'm reading a story that makes me really with emotion. And I say very rarely. Like there's a few, obviously, like Assassin's Apprentice, like easy. That like you want to try to get me to cry. You just throw something like that in there. I won't say what it is, but that'll do it. And then and then of Empires and Dust, just like that experience of. It sort of also gave me like a Harry Potter throwback. Not that I read the books, but I watched the movies, and it sort of gave me that feeling somewhat, which was, I thought, like a cool, I don't know if it's an intentional homage. I'm sure it played a role in somewhat, but it was just such a well done ending to that book, to the penultimate, I think, for the series, to bring that to where we're going in the next book. I'm just very excited for that. Ryan is a very fine gentleman and a scholar, and he's written a fantastic series.
I completely agree with you, man. Like that, and seeing the new Broken Binding editions too, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Each one of those, like, I'm like, dang, that's such a fire cover. And just getting to see like some of the art for those books, like as they're coming out. And I mean, I know you have it too, I think. Like going through the art of this one.
Yeah. That's of Darkness and Light, right?
Yeah, that's of Darkness and Light.
Yes.
I don't have the first one, or
I don't either. Or the Fall. Oh my gosh, those editions are insane. I have it up here. You can't. I don't know if you can see it, but it's like up next to that.
Oh, I think I can see it.
Yeah. But
no, like. It makes me so excited for when we're gonna get art of Empires and Dust.
Oh my God! Oh yeah. No, it's a good point. It's gonna be really cool.
The art that we did get, I do wonder what happened with his brother's art, because I also thought that was fantastic.
That's the stuff from the original indie books, right?
Yeah,
I like it as well.
We switched for book 4. We switched to Peng Lu.
Oh. In the interior art. Okay. I guess I didn't realize that.
It's still fantastic though. So
yeah. I think that's such a cool part about being an indie author, is just the freedom to, well, now that I know his print rights are with Broken Binding, but it's so cool to be able to have control over your art and quite literally like put and implement things. Like I have, I think 5 poems in the back of that book that I threw in there. And then I have my regular artwork. I did pull half of the Molesky piece for the final edition of the book.
Oh, really?
That's in the interior, mostly because I want that to be exclusive to the launch editions that are coming. I'm not going to say who yet. It's not that I'm not at liberty to say who. I want to make sure that I'm like patient with it. And it's hopefully it's in the works right now. Belle is doing the formatting and everything for the standard edition. So for book 2. So we're making sure that that's the priority. So everything's good to go for launch next week, obviously. But once he's done with that, we've gotten some formatting for Tears of the Fallen already done, and that looks beautiful. And the artwork that we got for the cover there is fantastic, done by Angela Molesky, and I'm really looking forward to those launch edition bundles being available. There's hints out there as to who is printing it. It's not really a giant secret, but I do want to just like not count my chickens before they hatch. I'm just so excited. So and I'm not sure quite how many we're going to do for printing yet either. I have to decide that. And that is mainly due to just finance, like how much money I have to put into it. So I'm going to throw as many dollars as I can to get as many copies of those out there.
That's not the omnibus edition, right? It
will not be an omnibus edition. No.
Okay.
That is going to be something I think talked to you about this. There's an artist or two that I've picked out for an omnibus edition of books 1 and 2 together. That I'm also going to wait on. I was initially planning on doing it and getting that art commission before the new year. Life kind of happened. And so I had to put a pause on that just because expenses went up quite a bit. But that is still something that I am intent on doing. I'm just when it happens, it likely will be the launch of a Kickstarter for that would probably be after. Oh man, I want to say post book 3 release, just because. And this is like I'm communicating this with you, and so I'm like articulating it for myself for the first time, just so we're aware. Because initially my plan was to have it before book 3 was out, but quite simply put, I just didn't have the bandwidth to take care of it. And so I think post book 3 we'll have hopefully both audiobooks out by then, which is I'm really excited for. It's unbelievable that Simon Vance agreed to do the series, or at least I know that at least for the first couple books. And I'm really, really freaking excited about that. So once those things kind of happen and go through, we'll probably have a little bit more things to play with, which will be nice because the money I make from this goes right back into the creation of the series. All the payouts go straight back into production to make sure that things are looking good and feeling good and reading well, But yeah, I'm really stoked about the audiobook situation.
No, yeah, dude, I actually remember when you told us that you were gonna make an audiobook. I was like, ooh, come on. It's like when we were told about the Discovery audiobook.
Right. Yeah.
Like, oh yeah. Okay, come on, give me.
Yep.
So I can listen to it again and just experience that wonderful story again. It's like, yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna do my reread on audio of Discovery when they're coming out with their second book. I think I have to. It's just silly to not.
I know, right? Like, especially like they said they have like different voice actors for each of the
7, I think, different voice actors. Hopefully they can correct us if they're here or find it eventually.
Yeah, no. Oh,
that
was
really exciting stuff.
And then, dude, I day 1 when that comes out, I'm gonna be there.
Hey man, I cannot wait to get. Whenever they start doing everything, I cannot wait to get these samples and to hear the world brought to life by Simon Vance. It's it blows my mind that someone of his caliber is coming on board of the series, and I'm just so excited.
I'm sure that's like just that's going to be the most fun experience, like to sit down and every once in a while hear this like voice recording of your book from Simon Vance and be like,
yeah. I wonder how much I'm gonna like critique my own writing through his voice. Just like, man, I made it hard for him to do his job. I'm sure that's gonna happen once or twice. Yeah,
I guarantee you it will, but you shouldn't just because it's just gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be
relish
awesome.
it.
I mean, he might honestly execute any wrongdoings I have in my prose. Just with how talented he is. So, yeah, I'm super excited. I cannot wait. I believe there's a listing on Amazon right now, and it has a date on it. I won't say it live so I don't get in trouble. But there is a listing on Amazon. It's there. It's on Audible. You can see it all over anywhere audiobooks are available. That you can pre-order it.
You're looking it up right now.
But yeah, that's for the first book, and then obviously we have the second book that needs to be done as well. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just so excited, and I could talk about all of the wins and the little victories that I've been fortunate to have with everybody inside of the community that's sort of been on this journey with me, you included, like between our very first conversations, early on, talking about what books we're reading to now. And then to meeting you and your dad in person at the gala was just like really cool, really fun experience. And it's just surreal. It really is to see how far the series has been taken and to really like pause and look back. Also, like to be working on the third book and to be getting it ready to writing it, obviously. So I'm not getting it ready to go out yet, but I'm writing it, and I finally like sat down a couple days in a row this week during the production process of book 2. My brain has been in business mode, but being able to sit down and get back into drafting mode has been really fulfilling. And I feel sort of back in alignment, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Which is nice. It's like a good feeling, I think, to get back in the chair and actually write, to put my ass where my heart wants to be.
Also, just for everybody else, the audiobook says September 22nd.
Interesting. Yeah.
Okay, that's. Well, I know where my Audible credit's going that month.
Heck yeah. Oh yeah.
But actually, I do want to point something out. You're right. Honestly, probably one of my favorite things about indie books and seeing your books and a bunch of other books that I've seen recently is the formatting. It gets to be so, you get to play with it.
Yeah.
Like your book has so much cool art, and like the part titles. I was just about to show a piece of art, but I'm gonna like hold that off because I don't know.
Sure. I don't know if you're in chapter 5. Probably that'd be my
guess. No. I'm on chapter. I'm like at part 2. I just hit part 2.
Oh, okay. So you've seen chapter 5.
Yes.
Okay. One of my favorite chapters.
Oh, yes. That was fun. I really liked that bit.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I think you held your mouth there.
Shut up, because I'm going to start talking spoilers.
Yeah, you held your mouth there, which is funny if you've read chapter 5.
But like, and then you see some other stuff. So recently, somebody like pushed me into buying another indie book. If you don't mind showing.
No, please. Yeah, please.
Like, there's a different art piece for like each and every. Can you see that?
Yeah.
For like each and every. Right? Say it again. Tree roots.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And there's like, I think for every chapter, there's like a different, and I don't know what this is. It's like a bunch of sticks here.
It's like a path in a forest, I think.
Yeah. And like, it's so interesting.
What's the name of that book?
It is called The Wingspan of Treason by L.N. Bayan.
The Wingspan of Treason. It's a cool cover too. I like that. Those are dragons that I'm seeing?
Sorry, say that again?
Those are dragons that I'm seeing there?
Yes, I think so.
Very cool. Very cool.
But like the way all indie authors get to like completely format it, like, and do such fun things with it,
Yeah.
It's so interesting. It's so much fun. Like,
yeah. It's not that trad doesn't do it, but I think the connection between the artist, like the actual author, and the story, and then the formatting stuff, I think is a bit closer. It feels a bit closer. So there's something cool about it because there's intent. There's the intention there is, it's not necessarily I'm going to do this to sell books, although it might be, but it's literally for the love of the game. It's like it's really what it is.
Like,
and I think that's what separates. I think that's the big difference for the most part that I'm aware of. Like, I don't want to misspeak, but I feel like that's the psychological difference, I think.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. Like, it feels when I look at the art in something like Ill is the Fate, and then I go look at, and I'm not saying either of these are bad, mind you, or I'm not saying or I look at the art in the Way of Kings.
Right.
It feels like I'm getting author's brain to paper in Tears of the Fallen, Ill is the Fate. In Way of Kings, I feel like I'm getting a little bit of. I feel like there was a middleman. There was somebody who went, okay, hold on, let's check your stuff, and then, not check your stuff, but like, let's. Do you know what I mean? I don't.
Yes,
I don't
do know
mean
what you mean. I think the art direction.
Yes.
The art direction done by the author usually feels a little bit closer to home. And I've done all the art direction. I think Ryan Cahill, I don't think on all of his editions because he has so many now, but I think early on he did all of his own art direction as well. Even to the extent of doing his own art, I think at some point, which is very cool to see. So yeah, I'm thoroughly excited about more art direction to come in my future. I'm also thoroughly excited to genuinely, mostly just because of how much bandwidth it takes. Like eventually I am looking forward to somebody else art directing these stories because I want to see the interpretation of that art director through the artist. And that is something that I am looking forward to, just for like another one of those moments of like, holy crap, you know, like a perfect example is Simon Vance as the audiobook narrator. He is art directing his own voice, you know, like he is portraying these characters in this story the way that he wants to portray them. And it's being done without me really being there to be like, this is how you should say this or say that. You know, obviously with minor things that I did obviously send over. And if they don't, you know, if they don't use it, I honestly am just so excited that he's doing them that I don't even care. But that would be an example, I think, of an artist's portrayal, like art directing the project. You know what I
mean? Yeah. No, that's. I can only imagine. Like, actually, you mentioned like kind of art directing his own voice. It took me a while to understand, like, what do you mean you had to like help people learn how to say your book? And like, I was like, huh? But then like, you want to know who put me in my place?
Who?
Jenny Wirtz.
Oh, why? Tell me more.
Because it's not like that. It's just the way, like when you read her books,
right?
You know how complex and dense those prose are, right?
Yes. I've only read To Ride Hell's Chasm, but I do have Wars of Light and Shadow queued up. Hopefully before the end of the year, I'm able to start it because I am finishing up Crippled God now, so I can take on another massive series.
Oh, man. That's going to be a fun one for you. But that one, oh, dude, reading that series was such an amazing experience, but like it forced me to like slow down.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I like that, though.
I agree.
I felt that same way about Tad Williams and his prose, and a lot of his like in-universe terms are very like foreign to the mouth, like just in how they're spelled. So that was my very first experience reading epic fantasy was with Tad Williams. So that was a super cool thing to go through, to be like, okay, well, this has to be the norm, right? And then obviously I read Joe Abercrombie and I was introduced to a whole new style of prose that's also beautiful, but differently, you know? And then you read something like Stephen Erickson, Janie Wirtz, Robin Hobb, Christopher Rocchio. I think just like a lot of your high level writers who are insane writers, insane storytellers, and the way they bring their stories to life. And I can't like, it's cool to see other narrators doing their stories, because it's like, okay, this is also a narrator's interpretation. There's so many terms, there's so many things. And so it's very cool to see your art done in a different way by somebody else. I don't know. I love that.
No, you're right. Like, cause actually I think I read, what was it? I think it was Wheel of Time, the first book, on my own a while back.
Yeah.
And then I listened to it when going back, because like I wanted to give it another shot. And I'm like, oh, I get it now.
Yeah.
That is very different. And same thing hit me with Wars of Light and Shadow. When I read book one, then I went to go listen to Curse of the Mistwraith. I tried to make my mom listen to it.
That's funny.
I said, "Hey, go, listen to this," because she loves like all the Janny Wirtz interviews. So I'm like,
sure,
go listen to this, and she's like, that's so complex. And then I'm like, you're right, because I mean, of course it is complex, but like when I read it versus when I hear it from someone else, it's different. There's my interpretation, then there's his interpretation.
Sure.
And it's so interesting.
It's it's like Samuel Raukin doing the Cielson.
Oh my God, that one.
Which I hear mixed things on. I didn't mind it. It was all right.
I didn't get up to when the Cielson got in, because I listened to him for book one and then read the others on my own.
Yeah.
Samuel Raukin, from what I remember, was like,
oh yeah, he's top tier. He's great. Yeah, he really is. He did the Elric series as well.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, so I listened to the first part of the first book of that, and he crushes it again. You know, he's just got such a good voice.
I might have to listen to that then. Also, oh crap, I had a question for you.
It's all right. I'm sure it's behind you somewhere.
Yeah, I'll figure it out eventually.
Yeah, it'll come back to you. Don't worry about it. Heck yeah. All right, so you said you're up to part 2, right?
Yes, I just hit part 2 last night. I wanted to read more, but then I went to visit family over the last week, and then I'm like,
no, man, no worries. I'm not saying that for the sake of being like hurry up. I'm saying it just because I'm like, oh, where are you? I like knowing, because I get messages all the time on Instagram too and Discord, and it's always fun to hear reactions of people as they read. And then there are people who are rereading it, which is also really cool. Just to sort of
already,
yeah. People who read an earlier draft are reading the ARC editions, which is really cool. Yeah. Already. Yeah. People, I've had, I think over a lot of people have reread the first one already, which is actually crazy. Esme from Grimdark Magazine, and I think Before We Go is the blog name. I don't want to misspeak that, but I might have. Yeah, the reread was said to be incredibly rewarding. So that feels good because it's intentional. Like I did want the reader to have a totally different experience going back and reading the book again. You know, obviously, like knowing what's coming, being able to maintain tension a second time is also a big thing, because if you know what's coming, usually the tension goes away. But when I was writing, that tension would still be there. And that to me felt like a good sign. So I hope that other readers are experiencing that as they go through the reread, because that to me is like I think a sign of like a story that really pulls you in and keeps you there. But yeah, I don't know. It's just really cool to see people rereading it so far. I'm just happy you're up to book 2, part 2, or whatever. Or yeah, the second book of the 3 books inside of Ills of Fate.
No, I'm loving it. Genuinely. There are times where I'm like, just come on, give me the time to go read, go back home. Let me go read it.
Yeah, you're good, man. You're busy. Yes. You said you're busy, man. It's all right. Yeah. It's life, you know, especially with all the things going on with school, and it's exciting. It's exciting stuff. Actually,
I remember my question now. We were talking about Tad Williams. Did you see he announced a prequel?
Sure did. Liked the hell out of that. Yeah.
That is so sick.
I'm so happy he's not leaving that universe. I still have to read The Last King of Ossinar, that entire series. I read The Heart of What Was Lost. There's another novella between that and The Last King of Ossinar that I also think is a prequel.
I think it's The Brothers of the Wind or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's like all red. It's like a really cool cover. But that one I got to read, and then I'm going to go into Heart of What Was or to The Last King of Ossinar. And he's just like one of my favorite writers. Like to this day, he's left such an imprint on me, and I haven't read his books in years. So the fact that still sits in my brain is kind of crazy, and that world is just like so real and lived in.
Going through
this kind of stuff I love.
Going through for the first time now. I finished Stone of Farewell a little bit ago.
Oof.
Man, I get it.
Stone of Farewell is the second book, yeah?
Yeah, second book.
Okay. Yeah.
I still have the Green Angel Tower left.
Yeah, there were some arcs in character arcs inside of the Stone of Farewell that were like really annoying at certain points for me.
Yeah.
And I think you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I can see it.
but I still like hung in there, and I still was brought back by the end, to be like, okay, like that was worth me being annoyed, like the payoff was worth it. For sure.
For me, I think Dragonbone Chair for me was like getting warmed up to the characters. I feel like that's what happens for me a lot of book ones. I have this really bad problem where it's like the first page 100 or 50 to 100 pages of any book, I'm like, I struggle to like pick up the book. It doesn't matter how good the book is.
Yeah.
It's the first time I opened the book, actually. After a chapter or two, once I've warmed up to the characters again, or once I've done everything, it's like, oh yeah. I remember. So when I read Dragonbone Chair, it's like, okay. And then I got to the end. Of course, the ending's fantastic. But then I picked up Stone of Farewell. I'm like, oh, I know these characters. And I loved it.
Yeah. That's good. You're breaking a lot of ground fast.
It's less ground than I wanted to.
Yeah, it's all right. I think that series to me is still an all-timer. And I cannot wait to go back and reread that eventually. There are some stories that eventually, when I have kids, that I would love to read with them. And there's going to be some first times for me too. Like I've never read Wheel of Time. I never read Aragon. I've watched Harry Potter. I read up to a certain book. I can't tell you which, maybe the fourth book. And like those sorts of things, I'm just really excited to go back through when the time comes for me to read those books. And of course, Lord of the Rings to reread. But also once, of age, I think like a middle school area for maybe high school, I don't know, to read Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn, just because there are probably high school, actually, if I think about the second book in particular.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that too. I was like,
the first book I think is fine for younger, but I think the second book might be, it's like an introduction to like the dark, I think, like with exception of Lord of the Rings, and obviously I don't know about Wheel of Time or Aragon, but you sort of get introduced to these darker themes slowly into Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn. And even Lord of the Rings, just like the darkness aspect and the scariness of what's in those stories. It just lives on.
Like the best one, I think that would be wonderful. So much fun to share with a kid.
Which?
The Hobbit.
Oh yeah, The Hobbit. Yeah.
Just imagine that. Like get just all the little songs. It's just so much fun.
Yeah. I might have to do the Andy Serkis narration for all of the Lord of the Rings situations with my kids. There's no way I'm going to be able to read it half as well as him.
Dude, I made my mom listen to The Hobbit through Andy Serkis, and she was like,
blown away. Yeah, he's just a totally different. It's like actually insane how talented he is.
It is like, and then you get to hear the Gollum voice.
Oh yeah. You lose
it's so much fun.
Yeah, you lose it. And the Gandalf too. Gandalf is gnarly.
Oh, yes.
Aragorn, Gandalf. I think those are the top. Obviously Gollum, but like I don't know. I loved his ability to do the characters, and that story is unreal.
He has such a wide range. It's crazy.
He really does. And he doesn't have a voice that would elicit that thought.
No, yeah. It's honestly, I think. Honestly, I sometimes forget his actual voice, but because I think he has his normal voice is also very different from like Black Panther voice versus Gollum voice. It's like, what? You
Alfred
did all three of those?
Yeah, his distinct voice. He does have a distinct voice, but he's able to do everything. It's crazy. I love a good narrator makes a great story. A great story even more great.
It's exactly the case, and that's what's going to happen when we have Simon Vance.
Yeah, that'll be really cool. I'm really looking forward to hearing the rest of your thoughts on Ill as a Fate when the time comes for that book to be complete for you, whenever that is.
It's probably going to be within the next week because I had tests and all of them just happened today.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, shoot me texts. Yeah, just let me know what you think whenever that. I'll be curious as to your real-time reactions.
I'll make sure to keep you posted because I am having thoughts and I'm really enjoying it. And then, of course, I'll make sure to write up a whole my chunky reviews.
Thank you. I'm grateful. I'd be super. I mean, I'm just grateful you're reading it.
No, I have to make sure. I have to pay for it with my reviews.
Grateful you stuck through.
And you know what I've been thinking recently? The only thing I'm worried about is that they'll throw it away. Like, because libraries, I want to get an extra copy and give it to the library around here.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I know libraries recently haven't been. Actually, I watched this TED Talk about a guy who's like, we're just getting ebooks nowadays. We're not getting physical books. So it's like, I want to give them the physical book of Tears of the Fallen. And of course, like, I want to give a couple of those around here. But then at the same time, I'm like, are they going to put it up? Do they put everything up that they're given?
Interesting.
Like,
yeah.
Right.
Huh. Damn. I didn't realize that. But I guess it makes sense. People have like those apps for e-readers.
Mm-hmm.
And they do get ebook copies to distribute and like loan out loaners. But I don't know, man. I love the physical medium.
I honestly struggle to read ebooks so badly because, I mean, of course, and I'm very grateful for it. You gave me the e-arc for this first. I'm like, I kept trying to read it, and I did. Yeah. I didn't like. I enjoyed it, but when I got the physical book, I was like, okay, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
And same thing happens. Like I even got a Kindle, hoping that would fix the problem. I still struggle. I mean, it's better. I do think it's better than when I'm on like an iPad scrolling.
Yeah, definitely.
But I'll try to read that way. It just doesn't compare.
No, it doesn't.
And
there's some about the physical feeling of a book in your hands and just the turning of the pages. Like, I'll read a ebook on my Kindle in bed, you know. But I'm Crippled God. I'm taking this as like an experience, and I am listening to it. There's some instances where it's easier to listen to without having, the immersive aspect and like actually holding this book in my hands.
Mm-hmm.
But I, for the most part, have been looking at it as I read, with the exception of a chapter I did today, which I didn't mark because I listened to it. Before we got on, I listened to a chapter. I'm kind of cruising through this, surprisingly. What a week of reading. Of Empires and Dust, I like cruised through the last 4 some odd hours of that book on Sunday. And then, getting into Crippled God, I'm just like really immersed in it, and I don't want to stop.
So you're in one of those runs. Last year I had like a crazy run. I think I read Shadows Upon Time, Song of the Mysteries, Last Book of Wars of Light and Shadow. I read like a bunch of last books, like back to back to back, and then Dragonbone Chair I threw in there.
Jeez.
And of course I got burnt out on long books after.
Of course.
Yeah. I need something.
The kings of long books. That's insane. It's insanity. I got this one here. I gotta get to Empire of the Dawn. The third book in the Empire of the Vampire trilogy. Jay Kristoff has fastly become one of my favorite writers in terms of prose and storytelling. He's slid up the list pretty significantly.
So like I think I have half of where is it? Half of it's over there. Empire of the Damned.
Yeah.
To go through. I was listening to it on audiobook when Silksong came out.
Also a great narrator.
I don't know if you know that game, but that game is consumed.
Oh, Silksong. Yeah.
So like I've had audiobooks on. I was listening to The Wheel of Time. That was a solid 100 hours after a month.
That never occurred to me, to be able to just sit and play video games and listen to audiobooks.
Oh,
that feels like a skill.
Is it?
I don't know. I haven't tried.
Like some people say I'm robbing myself of inexperience because
I see that argument.
Sometimes they're right. Sometimes they are right, but a good chunk of the time I'm playing a video game just for the gameplay.
Sure.
And
You're
so
getting a fix, like, in this, yeah.
Exactly. So I'll do that, but I'll also like put to the side, I'll either put a TV show on or an audiobook or something. Yeah. And so I'm doing that. That's what I did with Wheel of Time, and I did with Empire of the Damned. And then actually I was going to keep reading Empire of the Damned, but then somebody scared the wits out of me when Empire of the Dawn came out. And
oh, really?
Just like, yes. He was saying like, and this is a guy I trust on Twitter. I'm like, and he's saying, I loved the first 2 books. They were amazing, but the ending. Oh my God, the ending of this book. But then I turn around and I hear Chris, and he's like, it's one of the best endings I've ever read. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I don't know. I treat a lot of those opinions like a grain of salt. There are a lot of people who didn't, well, not a lot. I think there were people who didn't like the end of Sun Eater, that had problems. That had problems. You did have problems with it. I thought it was great. I loved it.
I had a couple problems with it, but for the most part, I loved it. I'd say if I had any criticisms, it would be the female characters.
Yeah, I get that. I think, yeah, those are fair criticisms. I don't think it took me out of the story enough to. Yeah,
it didn't.
It did. I did clock it. This is the best way I can explain it. Is I clocked it, and I was like, I can move past it. We're 6.5 books in at this point. Like, it's like, I was like, I'm okay. I could live with this.
Exactly. I can live with it here and there. I mean, the series is so great, anyways. And I mean, actually, we're getting a novella later this year.
Yeah. So nuts. So I knew he had stuff for it, but I didn't know that it was coming that soon.
I know. I thought he was like gone. I thought he said, "Hey, I gave you guys your books. I'll come back one day, maybe." Bye.
Yeah, I mean, at the galley. Yeah, exactly. He said he was going to come back to Sun Eater. I just didn't know it was going to be in this year.
That soon. I know.
That's cool. He kept that a secret. Let me tell you.
He did.
Because I at the Ryan Cahill signing here in New York, I went to it, and I sat next to him and we chatted for a little bit, and I think he's really excited about this epic fantasy series, but made no mention of any Sun Eater situation, and which is crazy considering the crowd. But yeah, no, it's really cool to like, to get back to that universe. I still need to read Tales 4. I haven't read Tales 4 yet, so sort of have that on reserve, ready to go. Which I was like expecting to keep on reserve for a day that I was like, I need Sun Eater. Exactly. And now I have to catch up, because then I'll have this next thing on the reserve for me to get my Sun Eater fixed.
Honestly, I'm actually still a little behind on Sun Eater too, because I read what's the first novella? The Devil.
The Lesser Devil.
Lesser Devil. Thank you. Oh my God. How could I forget that title?
Yeah.
Lesser Devil. But I started and got like a quarter of the way through Ashes.
Queen of Mid Ashes.
Queen of Mid Ashes. Thank you. God,
yeah. Sorry, I'm a Sun. I'm crazy. I'm crazy about Sun Eater. I wouldn't expect people to remember these things.
No, I love Sun Eater too. The problem is I should know that's the thing. I love those titles. Lesser Devil, Queen of Mid Ashes are such fantastic titles.
I'm trying to think of the third one. The third one's escaping me right now.
Dregs of Empire. That's the one I
Empire. There you go. Yeah.
But heretic that I am, I read Lesser Devil, got a quarter of the way through Queen of Mid Ashes, told myself I was going to read that, and then Dregs of Empire before Shadows Upon Time. Then I got Shadows Upon Time and said no.
Yeah. Once Shadows Upon Time got in my hands, I was like, Tales, you're going down. I got to read Shadows Upon Time.
Exactly. That's what it is. Like, I wanted to catch up on everything. No, you're not.
Yeah, no, I was at that time, I was like, I just need to get to the main book. And I felt the same way about getting through the rest of Malazan. I was reading Return of the Crimson Guard. I read The Knight of Knives. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I like Ian Esselmont's writing. I like his storytelling. I just wanted to get back to the main conflict. And I find the only time that I read, with the exception of obviously Sun Eater, where I was reading it in order, like chronological, but also Ryan Cahill's novellas in between. Like I find that like those are manageable. And then obviously you have more short form stuff, whereas like Malazan, you're talking about full length novels, you know, like in between novels. So it's just like, it's a little bit harder of a pill to swallow for me. I do intend on going back to Ian Elsamon's books after I'm done with the Book of the Fallen, but I'm going to give myself some breath. And like when I want to return to it, I'm going to, you know, just give myself a minute, you know, after finishing the main books.
Like I've been kind of on the fence because for Malazan, I'm too, when I get obsessed with a cast of characters, I'm like, you want me to go away from them? I'm sorry, I just can't do it.
Yeah. I mean, dude, you crushed Wars of Light and Shadow pretty fast.
I don't know how I did it.
Do you have a video review of that out?
Actually, I have it. I recorded one.
Okay.
And it's I've been wanting to make it come out, but I put it in the editor. I fixed up the voices, and then it got corrupted.
Oh, dang. All right, because I am curious as to like some non-spoiler thoughts of someone who's finished the series. Not for any other, like I'm going to pick up the series no matter what, but I know you loved it, so I am curious to hear what you have to glow about, you know?
Oh, it is, I'd say the way it made me think about the world, just genuinely, I would say I think of the world in a different way.
Okay.
After having read Wars of Light and Shadow.
Very cool. That's a very interesting insight.
And just the ideas of free will, the way it is explored, the way that our free will can impact the world around us is so well done. Like when you think on Wars of Light and Shadow, you get 10 times more out of it than when you're reading it, if that makes sense.
Okay.
And it's still just as amazing, mind you.
Can I ask, do you think that Malazan doesn't have this ability? I don't think. I think, well, that's not true. I think there are people out there capable of doing it. I don't think I am capable of just listening to Malazan. I think I need to sit there and read it to absorb all the information. Wars of Light and Shadow have coming off of Malazan. Do you think that I'll be able to do the audiobooks? Or do you think it's like silly for me to do that and I should just do it justice by reading it? So I have her books, so I got to read them.
I think you could do it. Me personally, with that audiobook, I think I would really deeply struggle with it.
Okay.
I mean, I tried actually. I have all three audio actually.
The Colin Mace narrations, right?
Yes, he's actually really good.
Colin Mace is great.
I have all 5 of them, but I could not do it. I listened to one in audiobook. I listened to all of book 10 in audiobook. And actually not all of, but most of. And honestly, I kind of regret it.
Okay.
Now, if it were like an immersion read, if you're saying you're going to listen to it and read it physically at the same time, then go for it. Yeah. But it's so complex. I don't think it's so dense, so complex that you have to focus. And it's also so sprawling. I would say kind of like Malazan. I don't know how you would read Malazan audiobook only.
It's difficult.
I listened to audiobook Malazan a while back. And then, of course, I read Gardens of the Moon recently.
Yeah.
And like physically, and I think it's a completely different experience.
Okay. Yeah.
That honestly, I preferred the physical reading of it.
Yeah, I think mostly that's going to be the case.
It's not that the narrators aren't fantastic.
No, Ralph Lister did the first 3 Malazan books. He's also very good.
It's just it is, you need to focus. It's that focus of being able to like process through everything. That's so you make the story just as much as Janny Wirtz is like dragging you through the mud the way she wants you to go.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah. So, okay. So, I mean, I really have not been able to do Malazan on audiobook only, with the exception of literally, like I just said, the chapter that I did before I got on today. And that's after 9 some odd books of getting an understanding of what we're getting, you know? So Hey, how many perspectives do we get to in Curse of the Mist Wraith? If you had to like throw a number up, double digits.
15. Oh, definitely double digits.
Okay, 15. Okay, that's actually really cool to hear. I honestly, in my brain, I was like, "Is this two perspectives?"
Definitely not just two.
Okay, that's good. I mean, again, this is just me not knowing anything.
No, of course.
Okay, that's excellent. I'm actually super excited. I was excited before, but now I'm even more excited.
She does a very fantastic job of like being where you need to be, if that makes sense. I actually think Erickson does a fantastic job with it too, mind you. Like, this is where I want you to see the story, and so you're going to go here, and you're going to go there, and you're going to go all over the place.
Yeah,
where I want you to go. I actually think you do a great job of it too, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, I play with it's funny because I love like a good single narrative story, single POV, but also like it's so, if you want to create a sprawling universe, a sprawling world, it is actually, I mean, this is just from my experience. I'm not saying that Steven Erickson felt this way or that Janny felt this way. I felt I was able to explore my world more and empathize and like get into these other characters' heads in like different ways. And it was a more fun and fulfilling experience for me to do it that way. And even like the short 2-paragraph, 3-paragraph perspectives that I do in book 1, there's a particular character I get into after a character death for maybe 3 paragraphs, plus a sentence, and just like hearing his thoughts for the first time, you're just able to see the way that this character that you've seen from outside perspectives, you're able to see him in this at a very vulnerable point for himself, in his own head, and what that translates to the reader is just always at any point there's a character on the page in somebody else's eyes that's having a different experience. And so I became aware as I was writing of all of these other characters around, and their experiences. And it really does. I mean, I honestly, it's just like, it's just in terms of life, I think that's a pretty good exercise, to put yourself in other people's shoes. But it's a very fulfilling experience for me. And I feel like I learn a lot when I do that, to challenge myself to think in somebody else's shoes.
With that statement alone, I'm just certain you're going to love Janny Wirtz's books.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I am. I know I am. Yeah, I'm excited to get into them.
Oh, I'm excited to hear your thoughts on all of Wars of Light and Shadow, and then of course when you hit Live Ship, that one, that's gonna get me excited.
I think realistically, I'll be able to do Live Ship first. I have to finish the Adan trilogy. That's, I think, Empire of the Dawn, the Adan trilogy, Strength of the Few, and then I'm going to start Live Ship somewhere in there. I might also start the Throne of Glass series. I've decided that I'm going to try some Sarah J. Maas. I'm going to give it a go, and
I'll be very curious to hear your thoughts on that, because I actually did I tell you this? I read that.
Oh, did you enjoy it? I hear it. I hear a lot of people. I hear great things about it. I really do.
I enjoyed it. The reason I read it, though. I knew a girl and I was interested in her, so I was like, "Oh, you like that book series? I'll go read it."
There you go. Hey, man. Yeah, men are simple creatures.
Exactly, very easy. But I did genuinely enjoy it. I found it to be fun. I don't think it's like a top 10 series. I wouldn't put it next to the things I really love.
Yeah.
But I do still think it's a very solid read and worth the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's good to hear. I mean, I think that's one that I'm like, it's sort of, I don't want to say out of my wheelhouse. I actually think that it's the wheelhouse. I just, you obviously have like this other giant looming series that she's written in A Court of Thorns and Roses, and I've read the first couple of Fourth Wing books, so it's not like those are out of the realm of my wheelhouse either. It's just not traditionally. It's not what I read. Also, like I don't traditionally. There's a lot of others like horror. Okay, I've dabbled in horror recently. Like I read Black Mouth. I thoroughly enjoyed Black Mouth. I like Stephen King. I want to read King Sorrow. Like there's a lot of stuff that I don't typically dive into that I'm looking to dive into, especially this next year. As I draft, this is just like a point that I'll bring up before we finish up. But like I love when I'm in a drafting mode because I find it so much easier to sit down and read because I'm able to just be inside of a story and like take it for what it is. Whereas when I'm in a copy editing mode or like an editing mode or a revising mode in my head, like that switch is flipped, I feel like I almost have to just do audiobooks in those cases or at least immersion read because like I can't sit there and look at text without thinking.
That's fair.
I get what you mean. Make it better. And I'm so mad at myself because when I first started, I was like, oh, that's never going to be me. That's never going to be me. But here I am. Like yes, that happens to me. And it's kind of annoying, actually. I really do wish that it wasn't the case and I could just be in the story without that being the case because I'm not trying to hyperanalyze like my favorite authors like at all, but like when I'm hyperanalyzing myself and text on a page, it's really hard for me to like go to another page with text on it and think, here's a story. Whereas if I'm drafting, it's all creative. It's all like, here's this, which is a whole other challenge in and of itself to get in the chair and actually sit down and jam my fingers on the keyboard. But I think sitting there and trying to tell a story, I'm looking at the storyteller, not the writer when I'm reading. Although I know the two go hand in hand, but and I can enjoy my favorite writers, thoroughly much more when I'm writing and drafting versus when I'm revising. But considering my favorite writers are, some of the greatest prose writers I think that exist. It's like you can't really like, what am I going to hyperanalyze? I guess I'm hyperanalyzing, how do I fit things in better in my story? How do I make things cleaner and so on and so forth? But it's just like, I hate doing that. I like just enjoying it for what it is.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't like being very picky with my prose. I sometimes I have been with Sanderson. Sanderson can get me sometimes. I do admit.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
No, yeah, I mean, like I think with Wind and Truth, he had a bit of dialogue issues.
Oh, okay.
And I remember, like, there were times with his dialogue, I just said, no. I literally, there was a point at the end of the book where I stopped reading. I literally was invested. I loved the book. And then I saw a line. I closed the book. I walked out of the room. I went to go eat food and came back.
Wow.
I was so upset with it.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
interesting.
I still think it's a great book, by the way.
Sure.
But sometimes.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
But
all right, Alex.
Anyways, thank you for. I know I'm holding you captive.
No, you're not. My old geezer bud is my eyes are. It's not. It's just me being an old geezer, really. Once sunset hits, I become a werewolf.
Your sleep schedule is probably 1,000 times better than mine. Because trust me, just trust me on that one.
Roger that. Roger that.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on. I really, really appreciate it. It was just such a fantastic time getting to talk to you again and talk to you about your book. And again, of course, thank you so much for giving me an arc. It has been such a wonderful ride to get to read this series and support you and see where it's all going. Get to see that the audiobook is now in production and that it's coming out on September 22nd. It's my early birthday gift, or it's my late birthday gift. Come on.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I'm really so excited and so happy for you for all the successes that you've been able to have and get to see all the artwork you've been allowed to direct. And it's just been fantastic. So
thanks, man.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, man. Ill as a Fate comes out March 31st. End of the month.
I'll make sure that it is in the description, Ill as the Fate and Tears of the Fallen.
Yeah,
so
sure.
Even though the description has been touched right now, but when it goes up, it'll have it.
Yeah, and you also have like ChanceDillonAuthor.com, and that has everything. You can find everything at that one link, and that might be easy to just type in.
I'll make sure all three of them are there.
Oh, thank you, dude. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you all so much for watching, even though. All right. Bye. Come on. That's not the end stream button.